Get out of the car. Get out of the car. When I say get down, you get down. You don't ask questions. When I say we're stopping to eat, you stay with me. You listen to me from now on. Or you start taking care of yourself.
I can take care of myself fine. You never wanted me along anyway. You think it's my fault this happened.
Stop it, Michael. It was not your fault. None of this is your fault.
Just take me to Aunt Sarah's.
I can't take you there. Not now.
Why?
He knows that's where we're going.
So what are you gonna do?
Something I can't do alone. You have to listen to me now. Okay? Or else both of us are dead. I have to make Capone give up Connor. There's one thing Chicago loves more than anything, and that's their money. And they've got it in banks all over the state. We're gonna have to find it and take it. Are you gonna help me?
Yes.
Then I have to teach you something.
Praise the Lord for bringing us this generous bounty.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Living flesh.
I guess that's about 50 cents.
Looks like me. Back on the menu.
That's why I'm hungry. Each word I say, farther into a radical hypno high.
No secret, Mr. Meat. Don't skip on the meat.
I'd buy that for $1.
Not that for me, please. I'm trying to get back.
Oh, look at me! I'm another thing!
Seem easily upset.
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill. I'm so hungry. I never knew anyone could be so hungry.
What about that time I found you naked with that bowl of jello?
Hello and happy Father's Day for the Sin Beef Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Gary Hill. With me tonight is the guy you hear almost every episode now, and he shows up for us. That's cool. Mr. Mike Maryman, how you doing, sir?
I am well rested and ready for tales of revenge.
Cool. And all the way from Knox County, Tennessee, Mr. Jeffery X. Martin, how you doing, sir?
Hi. Doing all right, I reckon. It's rainy. And that's about it.
It moved on, man. From our crazy bird to your crazy bird, see?
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate the, it's almost like having not a transfer student. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Why should you?
It's like I'm Faye Dunaway in Supergirl. I'm just passing weather on to you people. See,
It's the long duck dong of weather systems.
Yeah, with us also from the great state of California, Mr. Venom. How you doing, sir?
Greetings and salutations, beefers. Yeah, nice to be here, Gary. Thanks for having me on again. I can't wait to talk about two of the best dads in the world.
Always welcome, sir. We're from one cat dad to one real dad. I'll ask Jeffrey X. Martin, what have you been watching lately?
I watched the 1989 Mexican horror movie Hell's Trap, which is tremendously silly. It's about kids off in the woods. They're hunting a killer bear. One of the guys' name is Nacho. I know that's not supposed to be funny, but to me, that's extremely funny. Like his middle name should be Cheese. Anyway, they're hunting a killer bear, and the plot twist is it's not a bear. It's this crazy Vietnam vet who's rocking like a finger knife glove, a tourist trap mannequin mask, and a scraggly blonde wig. And in a very shocking move for a slasher movie, everyone has guns. Lots of them. So it's just bullets and blades and incredible dialogue like, We never should have chased that madman. There is no Spanish word for Rambo. So Hell's Trap is Rambo meets A Nightmare on the Final Terror, and you don't need to watch it, but if you do, then you will have seen it. Also, I finally caught Keeper, the Oz Perkins movie, and it rolls through pretty familiar relationship terror ideas. I don't know why the main couple is together. I don't know why the woman decided to spend the weekend at a secluded cabin with this guy who is just NPC boring. They're not cool together. They're not cute together. And so you don't really care if they live or die. Instead, you get some art house imagery, old pop music, and some goop. I liked it. It's a one-timer, though. It reminds me a lot of Travis Stevens' movie, A Wounded Fawn, which I thought was a lot more compelling and visually interesting. So if you want great Perkins, stick with The Black Coat's Daughter. That's the ideal Oz Perkins movie, in my opinion. Let's see. I watched Hokum, and I watched the new Faces of Death. I'm not ready to talk about them because I don't have any jokes ready for about how much I didn't like either of them. But I did really like Strange Harvest, pseudo-documentary about a serial killer. That's really good stuff. So check that out. Listen to Elder. Listen to the new Yes album. Listen to Orbit. And listen to Split Single. Listen to your heart beat.
Is that David Cassidy just then or no?
It was Laurie Anderson.
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were full on Parker family there, brother, you know.
Well, that would be that's a love beat.
Oh, that's the DeFranco family right there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sorry. We were playing families here, I thought.
That's okay.
That's perfect for Father's Day.
We'll do the Osmonds next, see, you know. It's all
as well we should. Well.
Yeah. I thought he was throwing a little heart in there.
Oh, boy. What about you, Mr. Ben? What you watching lately?
All right. Well, most of the horror that I've been watching will or has been discussed on No More Room in Hell shows. So I'm going to talk about some of the non-horror that I've been watching. It's all going to be theatrical with varying degrees of crap. So my first movie is my most recent watch. This is the sequel to a movie that I was greatly anticipating a couple of years ago. But then once I saw it, I felt completely deceived and disappointed in a franchise that I've loved my entire, well, maybe not my entire life, but close to half my life. And that is, of course, Mortal Kombat. And the movie, of course, is Mortal Kombat 2, currently playing in theaters. Now, for whatever it's worth, I will say that this is probably the best Mortal Kombat movie that's ever come out, but that's not saying a lot considering the past films in this franchise. I have a soft spot in my heart for the original because I loved it when it came out. As I watched it more and more over the years, I saw the weaknesses in the film and the writing and the acting and even the editing, even the fight sequences. So I look at it more now as a guilty pleasure. The second one, very fan servicey. If you've been playing Mortal Kombat games since the beginning, like I have, you're going to see a lot of fan service in here, a lot of like subtle nods to things that have been discussed in the lore, but maybe aren't deeply explored in the films. Once again, just like the first Mortal Kombat movie, Kano steals the show. Kano is an absolute joy every single time he's on screen. It just elevates the movie. And if he actually opens his mouth, it elevates the movie even more. So, yeah, kudos to Kano. I will give some crops. I will give some props.
I'll take some crops.
I mean, if I knew the man personally, I'd give him some crops too. I mean, he's probably hungry. But yeah, Carl Urban. Longtime fan of Carl Urban. Absolutely love the man. Don't necessarily love everything he's ever done, mind you, but I am a big fan. And I got to say, his Johnny Cage was easily the best cinematic Johnny Cage we've ever gotten. He had the flamboyancy, the attitude, and then even the cowardice, if you will, once he finds out exactly what the Mortal Kombat tournament is. So yeah, you get some good kills, and they dispatch a character that I fucking hated from the first movie. I'll keep it under my hat in case anybody actually wants to go see this film. But yeah, they dispatched the character that I hated the most from the first movie very quickly, which, did this old man's heart a lot of good. So I'm not going to say it's essential viewing by any stretch, especially if you've not played the video games or aren't a big fan of the video games. Then I would say this isn't necessarily something that you need to see. But if you are a gamer and you're familiar with the Mortal Kombat game franchise, I'd say check it out. Like I said, probably the best Mortal Kombat movie ever. But again, take that with a grain of salt because, we're talking about a bunch of, 5 out of 10s and 6 out of 10s. So it's not a lot to strive for. So after that, or before that, I should say, I also saw Scary Movie 6. And that was fucking terrible. I'm sorry, but to anybody who enjoyed that movie, God bless you, because I hated it. I think I chuckled twice throughout the entire movie. I will say the Final Destination theme park was one of the things that made me laugh. I found that endlessly funny, but otherwise the movie is just... It's weird because I just praised the fan service in Mortal Kombat, and now I'm going to talk about the fan service in this one just being atrocious, just very egregious, not funny. All of the new stuff that they tried that they've never done in a previous Scary Movie just fell flat. All of the rehash jokes, again, I saw them, 14 years ago. Why do I need to see it again? So yeah, overall, I would not recommend Scary Movie 6 to anyone. Like I said, I chuckled twice, maybe. And you're talking to a big fan of the original. And ultimately, it's the only movie in the franchise that I actually like. Even the second one just kind of leaves me flat because of the rehash jokes from the first one. But just the new one just did very, very little for me.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, please.
I agree.
Expand.
I feel like going into it, like when the trailer was playing at the theaters before movies, I thought the trailer looked like good enough. And then the movie happens, and I don't know, man. You know what I kind of got the vibe of is that in the original franchise, because the Waynes were there for the first two, it felt like they were parroting movies they probably actually like grew up watching and had a actual love for. They had fostered the satirization around like movies that they knew, very familiar with and loved, whereas like this new one, it almost felt like they were trying to cater to like, well, how can we do something for the new generation? Well, what are the movies that came out? Okay, we got it. Because did you feel, was it just me, or did it feel like they used a lot of modern movies to like set up punchlines, but then there was really no payoffs to like a lot of the jokes that they were trying to get across? And I was just like kind of I was just underwhelmed like a lot. Like there was maybe a few times that I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty funny, but for the whole like I guess hoopla about the Waynes returning, and count me as one of them because I had pretty much not liked most of the franchise once they left, or I guess the proper term is had it stolen from them. I was pretty hyped up that they were back because I like most of the Waynes brothers like humor in movies and TV shows. So yeah, I was unfortunately underwhelmed with the new Scary Movie as well.
There were moments the non-Waynes Scary Movies I laugh at, like the Kevin Hart, what's his name? Anthony Anderson, the Brokeback Mountain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lionel Richie, I laugh my ass every time I see that shit. Yeah. What are you doing? Just grabbing some notes. I can't stop laughing. Yeah,
I don't know, the gay stuff, man. It just got kind of not heavy-handed, but just annoying, I guess would be the easiest term. After a while, it's just like, okay, he's gay. Let's get past it. All right. It's not that funny. God damn. Like I said, it felt a lot like it was made, like this movie was made in the mid-90s with a lot of the inappropriate stuff that was in here, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. Blazing Saddles is one of my favorite movies ever. I love inappropriate, but it just feels like when modern day movies do it, they do it so tongue in cheek that it loses all of its societal weight, and it just falls flat for me. So
there's a lack of cleverness in it a lot of times too.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. All right, and then the last movie I saw, once again, back in the theaters, and there is no reason for this movie to be 2.5 hours, but I sat through it anyway because 12-year-old Mr. Venom just had to find out if it was even a watchable film, and of course I am speaking about the Masters of the Universe. Yes, the new Masters of the Universe movie with a laundry list of no names and Idris Elba. So there you go. Overall, again, it greatly tops the movie from the 80s. I like the fact that most of the movie takes place in Eternia, as opposed to the 80s movie that takes place almost entirely on Earth. Overall, I liked the action. I liked the characters. I liked the characterization. It was great to see Ram Man and Trapjaw and Beast Man and all the characters that I loved as a kid. But what left me flat with the movie was the attempts at comedy. Like, all of the comedy falls flat in this movie. I didn't chuckle once.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's like, man, I mean, stop trying. I understand that the original He-Man had a large comedic aspect to it. I understand that, but make the comedy more clever. Like, we're not kids anymore. You're not making this movie for kids today. You're making this movie for people that were kids in the 80s and 90s who loved these cartoons. And we're adults now, so you can actually, kind of adult up the movie a little bit. But yeah, the comedy in this movie just, oh my God, I felt like my ears were getting cancer every time they made a bad joke in this movie. So yeah.
They made that Fisto joke at least 3 times in that movie.
Yes. Oh God. And it wasn't funny the first time.
It really wasn't funny the first time.
Yeah.
I disagree with it, but I really disagree. I do disagree with you that it's better than the 80s one, because
the 80s one has a guilty love. I will fully admit that I do still love the 80s one. Like, I'm not going to call it a bad movie, despite the fact that it might objectively be a bad movie.
Let me tell you,
I mean, just because of how old I was, I loved it.
Well, Langella carries more acting range in his big toe than fucking all these fuckers of the whole goddamn movie.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
He owns it. And this is why I keep going back. This is why I keep going back to Street Fighter. Because Raul Julia was serious about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Spice said it was only Tuesday. Come on now, it's
exactly.
You're so serious about it, so you're there for it, And I was not there for this mostly at all. I mean, it had parts I loved, but when you make Trapjaw a bigger badass than Skeletor, that's your first mistake right there. Because there were some badass Trapjaw moments in this movie.
It really was. Like, both of his fights with Idris Elba were great. Well, Man at Arms, excuse me.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely. I thought Skeletor was like the least of the villains in this movie, and he's supposed to be our big bad. Mm-hmm. And again, I understand, the attempts at comedy, trying to emulate what they did with the animated show. But yeah, like I said, it just fell flat.
I mean, there's a reason why I go back to the holiday special every year. It's just I know it's going to be saccharine. I know it's going to be stupid, but that was He-Man for you,
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like you can accept it more.
There was no real peril in this movie at all, and when there was, they just do that stupid flash of comedy in there.
Exactly. Yes, big time. So. Again, not going to get a recommend from me, even as a hardcore fan of the original, even though, like I said, I did like a lot of the action and the characterizations. But again, I don't think this movie needed to be 2.5 hours long. It's just a little long-winded for its own good. So, yeah. And then real briefly, I also did see The Mandalorian and Grogu, which... I gotta say, it started and ended great, but the middle of that movie is the second act is so dull, so boring. It's like you give us this great opening action sequence, and then you slow everything down to then give us all the story elements and just all the plot points and blah blah blah, and then you end it with another great action sequence at the end. So yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of the Mandalorian TV show, there's no reason you won't love the movie, but ultimately, I'm still going to say it's one of the lesser Star Wars movies, especially it doesn't even hold a candle to Rogue One by any stretch. So, yeah.
That's still my favorite one is Rogue One at all the
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Rogue One and Empire like neck and neck for my favorites. I mean, something about Empire has always worked for me. I obviously I have a major love of villains if my name doesn't give that away, but yeah, to actually whatever. I barely want to talk about it anymore. But by the way, Rod of the Hutt, freaking awesome. Loved Rod of the Hutt. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a fun little popcorn movie, and I'm not going to say because people complain about it's not, doing nothing to progress the story of the series. But I had fun with the little popcorn movie. That's all I'll say about Mando and Grogu right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw it in Screen X too, which is that, extended screen where it goes off to the side of the theater as well. So it was pretty immersive. I liked it. I don't know that I'm willing to pay the extra couple of bucks to see it again, but I wanted to experience it once. And 4DX is probably still one of the best formats to watch your movies in as far as getting like engrossed in the film and everything else. But, Screen X is a nice alternative and a lot cheaper than 4DX as well.
Nice.
All right. As far as music I've been listening to lately, I've been listening to the new Fit for a King album called Blood Pact. Not as good as the last one, but it's still fairly enjoyable. I mean, the last album had a song on it called Blue Venom, so of course I'm going to love that. What else have I been listening to? The new Gideon album called, where is it? 4x4. That's right. It's called 4x4. The new Converge album, Hum of Hurt, for the Gent fans out there. And I even checked out a little bit of the new August Burns Red, which isn't a band that I normally listen to, but I had heard a couple of riffs from some of the newer songs that sounded pretty cool. Overall, the album still doesn't do a whole lot for me. Like I can't listen to August Burns Red for an entire album. But, every now and again, they've got a song on there that hits really, really well. So, and if you didn't guess, I'm an absolute metalhead. It's pretty much all I listen to. So yeah, that's about all that I've been enjoying for the past few weeks.
Nice.
Have you listened to the new Poison the Well yet?
I have not, though I've heard good things.
It's really good.
All right. That's
really
it. I'm
good.
Sold.
Mike, what you watch, man?
All right, so first up, I have another one from my 100 Years, 100 Movies Challenge from 1955 called Journey to the Beginning of Time. And I kind of made the mistake I've made a lot with compiling my list. This is my first year doing the challenge, so when I compiled my list, I kind of rushed through the process and picked a lot of stuff just based on like box art and synopsis. So lessons learned in my first year doing it. But anyways, this is a Czech movie, and I picked it because I assumed from looking at it was going to be like this big stop motion extravaganza of like dinosaurs in prehistoric times, and there's a little bit of that, but the movie kind of plays like it's like an educational science program that they play in late elementary school, middle school. I mean, there's little story to it. It's basically, one student kind of recalling an adventure he had with, I think, like a brother and a friend, and they're kind of going through the timeline of prehistoric era. And like the most peril they're ever in is I think their boat gets stuck in ice, and then it gets stuck in like a water system or a waterway because of like down trees, and they have to carry their boat, and you run into some dinosaurs. But it really feels less of a movie than like an educational video, like the earth science teacher would throw on like a rainy day or when they're done with their tests or something. Not terrible, but yeah, just okay. The next one I watched, Forgotten Pistolero, which the title doesn't give it away. It's a spaghetti western. Pretty cool. I mean, it checks all the boxes of what you would expect. I've kind of gotten to the point where as I'm watching more and more spaghetti westerns, like just in my downtime, I kind of like get something out of most of them because there's usually the pretty simple revenge format set up. Now, obviously, there's like the handful that like stand above the rest. And when I see one, it becomes like quickly obvious, like, okay, this is better than just your average one. But a lot of them, it's kind of like any genre. The more you see, the more you realize, okay, a lot of these are just kind of like they know the boxes you got to check, and they're going to do that. And outside of that, not super spectacular. I will say the opening credit scene, and this is great, just kind of profiling our heroes and the horse and the get up and shooting and all that stuff. And of course, the score is impeccable. It sounds very Morricone like, but it's not Morricone. Next up, let's see. My kids dragged me to the theater to see something called The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act. And I knew nothing about this going in. Apparently, there's like a web series or a webtoon series on YouTube called The Amazing Digital Circus. And this was kind of the finale, which combined, I think, like the 8th episode with like an hour episode 9 that comprised of this movie. It was interesting. It was kind of like chaotic, definitely content that is geared towards the younger crowd. And, at the end of the day, I think it had kind of like an anti-AI art message behind it, which I can dig. So like, it was probably not something I'd run out to see on my own, but when you're a parent, you end up seeing lots of things just through the desires of what your kids want to go see. And I'm not really going to tell them no to going to the theater. Anytime I can get them actually to the theater, it's probably going to be a yes from me. I don't know, what else do I got here? I watched a movie from 1985 called The New Kids by Sean S. Cunningham. I believe this was like directly coming off Friday the 13th. And this was an interesting one. We got James Spader. We got Lori Loughlin, very young at the time. Eric Stoltz was in this. Mid 80s with that cast. And this was more, I would say, a thriller than a horror movie. So Lori Loughlin's character and her brother have to move to a new school to live with, I forgot if it was their grandparents or like aunt and uncle after their parents die in a crash. And we kind of have your typical like, oh, the bully gang of the new school is terrorizing them. And then they're led by James Spader. And it's, I would say like for the first 2 acts, it's not that eventful. You just kind of have your getting bullied and fighting back against the bully sequences, but it does get pretty violent in the 3rd act. And this is currently streaming on Prime, so I would say check it out. Just like if you're interested in to see like what Sean S. Cunningham followed Friday the 13th up with. And it's funny because the score of this one, like through the 1st act, maybe in the 2nd act, the score like is like funny sitcom music. So like it brings a weird tone to like what's going on. And then I guess they finally realize, hey, we're about to have violent stuff and things happening to people. We should probably change it up, because then the score gets more proper to what's actually happening on the screen. And I grabbed the Day of the Dead Scream Factory 4K. Looks great. I know there's been some controversy over the Atmos Dolby audio track with like, I think it's like 2 lines of audio. I haven't I didn't notice it, but like, again, the people that are doing reviews on these, they will comb over these releases and like they will pick out any default or artifact that's wrong. And I'm not saying they're wrong for doing so. I'm just saying, like, as a casual viewer of the movie, sometimes I don't always pick up on it. I don't know if the issue is like widespread enough, or there's enough noise being made that Scream Factory would consider like sending replacement discs. Because I know with boutique labels, sometimes they can get pressured into doing it, but I'm not sure if this is one of those situations. And let's see, finally, this will probably be my high recommend of the episode, at least for the what we've been watching segment. I saw a movie called The Furious, and this is like a martial arts, kick-ass movie, and this might be the best thing in the theater as far as like this type of movie since I saw The Raid, because man, this movie starts out badass and it doesn't let up, and I feel like the creativity in the fight choreography is like taking another evolution to it. The fighting style, there's some familiar stuff, but I feel like the way they did like a lot of the kicks in the fighting, attacks, kind of like using the legs in like grappling sense too, was amazing. I think there's one character that his style, it's almost like a combination between Donkey Kong and Juggernaut from X-Men. It's awesome. Like the story is like, you know, the story is good enough to what it needs to be for this. You don't need a big intricate story when you're having these type of action sequences. I highly recommend getting to the theater if it's playing anywhere near you, because this is loud, aggressive, and it's just worth the money that anyone would have to pay. Movies like these don't come along. Obviously we have no shortage of martial arts movies, but once in a while you get one that just rises above the rest in just the presentation and how well it's executed. And I think this deserves the accolades, and hopefully, you know, word of mouth hits on this, that it gets like a longer theatrical run. So go see The Furious. And I'll leave it at that.
I will absolutely reiterate everything that Mike said. That movie is spectacular. It is by far my favorite movie of 2026. I absolutely loved every second of it. Even the slower dialogue scenes just absolutely worked for me. And Mike is right. The story is not, it's a story that we've seen in gangland movies umpteen times before. But yeah, just this action is ridiculous. And I also reiterate seeing this in a theater. Go see it in a theater. Just absolutely amazing. Great score, great sound design. It's I don't know what else I could say. It's amazing. So yeah, check it out.
Nice. Quick question on New Kids, Mike. What's more devious in your mind? Spader's paisley shirt, or them putting the pig blood on Lori Laughlin's legs in that one scene, you know?
Oh man, Spader was something else in this movie. Like, I don't know if it's a sign of the times, but like when he first introduces himself to her and he's like, "Hey, I want to take you out," and she's like trying to say no like 3-4 different ways, and he's just getting angry, and it's like, dude, she doesn't even know you. Like, this is. And I think it's when she's working at her uncle's gas station and she's filling up his gas, and he's a literal stranger to her, and he's getting angry that she isn't just accepting a date, like basically blind. Yeah, devious James Spader. But hey, everyone's got to start somewhere, and he went on to a great career. So maybe it all started with his depiction here.
I mean, it does go someplace in the third act. I'll agree with you there. It's slow, but it ramps up literally on a kiddie roller coaster in that one scene. So
yeah.
Oh gosh, I watched all new things new to me anyway. Let's put it that way. John Crosby thrilled that I turned on Prime and watched Monty Python and The Life of Brian, because I'd never seen it before. And he always shoots to the moon about how great it is. I'm not a Python fan, because those people that you hang out with that will quote the Holy Grail while sitting next to you on a couch just ruins Python for you. And I don't watch a lot for that reason. But I watched this and enjoy myself thoroughly. So I'll leave it at that till one day we'll cover Life of Brian. Maybe one day. I know X will be thrilled about that too. If we did that,
that'd be a good Easter show.
Yes, indeed. Other new thing, I was on Lee's show. They Must Be Destroyed on Sight podcast. This episode is out right now, where we discussed a Chinese film from 1993 called Farewell My Concubine. This is a great film discussion about 3 straight dudes and a bi girl talking about transgender politics and, you know, extreme opera training and crazy stuff that happens in that fucking movie. And I didn't understand all the politics of the movie, and I laid that out when I did the show. I didn't even want to do the show because I watched it, and there was a lot going on with like political revolutions and stuff I had no idea about in China. And like I was like, well, I'd be totally lost. But I just, I laid it on the table. So if you want to go listen to that podcast, if you want to watch the film, it's on the Criterion Channel right now. It's 3 hours. It's subtitled, and usually I don't give myself time to a 3-hour subtitled film. I was as tired as I was, but I watched this before we lost Wi-Fi because of the stupid storm, which is why I know I will talk about this week. But today I watched the duology that I should have watched the first one a long time ago. I watched Ready or Not, and I watched Ready or Not, Here I Come, the sequel, because they're both available now. Great times with Samara Weaving. People say the second one's better than the first one. I don't think so, really. I mean, it kind of had more of a better atmosphere the first week, if you ask me, than being in the mansion and her doing her thing there. And spoilers, white folks spontaneously combusting because the devil said that was what was going to happen. And, I just, I found it hilarious in parts. But the second one, you got more star power, obviously, in the movie. And they're doing stuff at a country club. And I like when in a horror film where they institute, there's certain things in the place, to do some kills. There's a great scene where somebody gets burned up in a washing machine. I'm here for it, and other great scenes, which I haven't seen that Homeboy from the Faculty, Sean Hatauzi, in a while, and he was good in there. And of course, my boo thing, R.I.P. Mr. Giles, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, we lost that guy. Makes me sad. People like Repo. I'm not a big fan of Repo, but I saw his Frankenfurter on stage in a video recently, and it's just phenomenal. Anthony Head, you will be missed. And that's about it for me as far as like watching stuff goes, because I haven't had the internet to watch, ESPN at home, so I'm stuck at work unless I'm falling asleep to something at work, So I'll have more to talk about next time as far as what I watched. But today it is the Father's Day. Oh, wait. I forgot to do something. Anybody got any beefs at all this week?
Hmm.
I'm putting you on the spot, guys, because I got one because I'm sick of this shit. Really, I'll tell you right now.
Well, you give your beef, and maybe it'll spark some beef in my mind.
Okay, that's fine.
We need sparky beef. Yes,
it's not the lack of Wi-Fi at home either. That's another story of me and Xfinity and me talking to Pakistan and basically telling them to go fuck themselves. Said yes for more money for my bill. I'm like, yeah, okay, but that's a minor beef. But it's summertime, it's convention season. One of the big ones around me is Chicago Fan Expo. Comes in August, and they drew a big name, and people are complaining because they're fucking morons. Kurt Russell, first time convention, probably only time convention ever, is coming to Chicago to meet and greet people and sign autographs. I'm not paying for this, but that's just not the point of the argument. People are like, oh, it's too much money, blah, blah, blah. You go to these convention groups all over the place, and all they do is bitch about what things cost. But you know what? A couple weeks ago, Indiana Comic Con wasn't doing so good ticket sales, but they announced Nicolas Cage. And you know what? The motherfuckers came out, and they opened their goddamn wallets. And I'll tell you right now, they'll do the same thing here, but even bigger because it's Kurt Russell. So all you people out there that bitch about what stuff costs, I was amidst the people once for Mark Hamill at a convention. I wasn't in line, but I seen the K full. I mean the queue full. I seen the people inside the curtain full, and then I seen the people in the back of the queue that may or may not be getting an autograph still waiting to shell out $500 for Mr. Skywalker's autograph. So if you're out there and you're listening, and you want to complain about what stuff costs, there are people out there that are willing to pay for it. Do I agree with what stuff costs? No, but I recognize that Kurt Russell's a guy that doesn't. He's like the Sean Penn almost, but not quite that schwarmy right now. But he's a guy who does not sign autographs. He doesn't feel the need to. I think Wyatt convinced him to do this. I think it'd be an awesome experience, but at the same time, it might not be. But you know what? They're going to shell it out. So before you open your mouth saying what folks are not going to pay for, I can tell you right now, and I'm not even looking at the thing, that tickets have increased in sales exponentially since they made this announcement. So if you're a doubter, if you're a bitcher about Robert Englund and how long the line is, that's another story. He takes his time with people, so you just shut the fuck up and pay for the VIP. Yes, this is my beef about conventions. The people that bitch about conventions, so they just don't know how things work, and it's annoying.
On top of the fact that they probably think that these stars are probably getting paid. I mean, don't forget, most of these autograph sessions are volunteer. The only money they're making is the money they're charging for the autograph. So,
they get a guarantee, Venom. I've heard from other people that are in the know in the game that they get so much for just to show up.
Oh, that's weird because I know the organizers of Monster Palooza out here in California, and yeah. They don't pay any of their, and I mean Lance Hendrickson's been there, Robert England's been there, Tim Curry was there a couple of years ago, and yes, I paid $250 for a meet and greet with Tim Curry, and I don't care because to me it's worth it. It's fucking Tim Curry, literally one of my favorite actors on this planet, a man who's not long for this world, so of course I'm going to take the opportunity to meet him. So
but it's sick as he's still very sharp. He's still
he really is. And he's funny. He is a funny guy. I forget God damn it. He made a comment about my wife's shirt because she was wearing a Legend shirt at the time. Mm-hmm. But that's what it was. She was wearing a Legend shirt, but Lord Darkness wasn't on it. It was like Tom Cruise and Mia Sarah's character. And he's like, where's the shirt with me on it? and all his handlers laughed. Oh, it was great. And the dude is sharp. I love him.
One of the funniest I read was his take on his character Cardinal Richelieu from the Disney Three Musketeers when he made a comment about every Halloween I wait there with a bowl of Three Musketeers and I tell the kids it's like something like none for all and all for me or something like that. He says I can't stop laughing when I read shit like that. But yeah, if you're a convention goer, I think one time Wizard World Philly was like a $4 million in guarantees just for all the people that came. So they're all getting paid when they come, so it's not a question of do they get paid. Yes, they get paid, but it's like when Harrison Ford did. He charged I don't want to do this, so you're going to fucking pay for a price. I think $750 for an autograph. If you had other people on the item, it costs more money. And this costs more money, and that costs more money. So that was the I don't give a fuck price for an autograph. I don't need this. I'm just doing it. If you don't like it, man, just fuck off or something because you don't know how it works, man. Because the next guy will pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even understand being vocal about it. Like, what do you care what other people spend their money on?
Because the world's going to change at the big comment on the internet, Venom. You know this. Come on now.
Of course. Oh, yeah. They're going to change all of our minds with one shitty comment.
I think one weekend I paid $1,000 altogether. This is probably my biggest convention expense ever for Goldblum and Travolta. And
nice.
It's probably two of the most nicest, couldn't be more grateful that they're movie stars ever, people you want to meet in your life. And it's just it was worth it. It was totally worth it. And I think Jeff's been doing meet and greets at his jazz concert. So if you're into that, go pay for that. It'd be a lot cheaper than I paid. But yeah, go see Jeff tickle the ivories on stage. It'd be awesome. Oh my gosh, that's the end of that, man. But yeah, stop pitching on the internet, please. I'm tired of reading that shit, but it is still hilarious. Today is our Father's Day episode. I mentioned earlier. Some of you guys are great. Some of you guys suck. I'll celebrate the good ones, that are out there and doing their thing or working hard. A pox on the bad ones, let's put it that way. We're doing
the bad ones still serve a purpose, because without the bad ones, we wouldn't know who the good ones are.
Well, we wouldn't exist either without their sperm either. So,
there you go. I haven't spoken to my father in probably about 25 years. Yes, he is still alive and well and probably fucking up somebody else's life, but he's not fucking up mine anymore, and that's all that matters.
That's good. That's good. Oh my gosh, we're doing 2 films about dads and their sons on the road and stealing and killing. One movie more than the other one, but yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll do these in reverse order, I think, because I know X has a lot to say about this one movie and probably a lot to say about the other movies. But let's get to the controversy. Not really controversy, but the lesser film first, and I will say that we're doing Road to Perdition, based on a graphic novel, which is I will say now is much better than the film is. So if you haven't read that, go seek that out. And a Lone Wolf and Cub film and a half with Shogun Assassin, and we're gonna do that Road to Perdition after the trailer.
Peter, I can't come to your concert tonight. I'm working.
Working at what? What's Papa's job? He works for Mr. Rooney.
Who's got a hug for a lonely old man?
Papa didn't have a father, so Mr. Rooney looked after him.
You rule this town as God rules the earth.
I love Mr. Rooney. We had nothing. He gave us a home, a life.
Oh. He goes on missions for Mr. Rooney.
Take Mike with you.
No, Paul, please.
Take Mike with you.
They're very dangerous. That's why he brings his gun.
Connor, what the hell are you thinking?
He saw everything.
Can he keep a secret?
He's my son.
A man of honor always keeps his word.
Michael, tomorrow when they find out we're gone, they're gonna come after us. I have to protect you now.
I'd like to apologize, especially to you, Paul.
You would like to apologize? Sons are put on this earth to trouble their fathers. Natural law.
You gotta take him now. I know who to call. There's a guy who's done some work for us in the past. To be paid to do what you love. Ain't that the dream?
Get out! I cannot fight you and them at the same time.
I can take care of myself fine. You think it's my fault this happened?
It was not your fault.
You won't make it. Not with a little boy.
What are you gonna do?
Just one last thing, and then it's done. Look out for the tractor, Michael.
Watch out for the tractor!
We made it.
Oh, yeah, we made it.
This is the life we chose, the life we lead. And there is only one guarantee. None of us will see heaven.
Michael could.
Road to Perdition. A mob enforcer's son in 1930s Illinois witnesses a murder, forcing him and his father to take to the road. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read today. And his father down a path of redemption and revenge. This is directed by Sam Mendes, who, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who created 6 Feet Under. Is that, I'm not correct about that. Directed Skyfall. Daniel Craig in that too. Ooh. Now I'm curious now. Oh, well. That guy worked on Penny Dreadful and stuff like that. 27 episodes, executive producer. That was a pretty decent show. Hamnet, apparently, too. I didn't watch that, though. But yes, this stars Tom Hanks. Miscast, according to Derek, and that's fine. We'll talk about that. As Michael Sullivan. Taylor, whose last name I cannot pronounce, Haechlin, as Michael Sullivan Jr., who would go on to play TV Superman in the new DCU. What else we got here? Jennifer Jason Leigh as mom, Annie Sullivan. Paul Newman, I think it's his last role as John Rooney. Daniel Craig as Connor Rooney. Very, very swarmy little bastard in this fucking movie. I didn't like him very much in this movie. Terrible. Other folks too. But we'll get into that later. I chose this film because I remember liking it a lot more than it's one of those films where I don't hate it right now, but I liked it a lot more upon my first viewing. But I'm gonna kick this to somebody else's opinions right now, and I asked Mike, what did you think about the film?
All right, so when you announced this show or this episode specifically, I mean, I was curious to watch it because I have seen it before, and I remembered liking it, not loving it. And on paper, it's a movie I should love because, I love the cast. Generally, like the story itself, from what I remembered, was pretty cool or pretty, I guess, easily digestible. So I was like curious to give it a rewatch and see if anything had changed. And I would say no, not really. It's like I like it. It hits a lot of familiar beats. I don't, I like the fact that you have a stacked cast here of a lot of actors that go on to do great things. I just think, I don't know, man, it feels like as things unfold, it's just very paint by numbers. A lot of things you are expecting to happen, and it stays very much within those bounds. You mentioned it's based off a graphic novel. Unfortunately, I don't know much about the graphic novel. I am kind of interested to see like story differences because I'm wondering if for the movie, if they like softened Tom Hanks's character, or if it's just kind of like the way he plays it because of the type of actor he is. And this isn't like any criticism of him as an actor. I mean, I like Tom Hanks in mostly everything he does. I don't know, the way he plays it, it just feels like soft for this type of character. I understand like out of this, I guess, crime syndicate or mob, he definitely immediately comes off as like the soft guy of the group, but I don't know, he just comes off like too soft for me. I don't know. I kind of want to see what everyone else, because I mean, I want to see if people just starkly disagree with me about like my thoughts on the movie. It's just, I remember when this, when it first came out, I was like, whoa, this is going to be like so good. And I was just mildly disappointed. I can't really say it's bad. I mean, maybe someone on the show will say it's bad. I'm not going to go as far to say it's a bad movie. I just think it's kind of ordinary, kind of like plain for the subject matter that it is dealing with in the story. So again, like maybe my best route from here is to go check out the graphic novel and see like if it cleans up or intensifies some of the story elements that I've found to be kind of just like generic in this one. So, I mean, the cast is the cast. They're good, but yeah, I don't know. I would say maybe a mild recommend, but yeah, it's an okay movie that I wish I would have loved, but I did not. And I'm keeping it a little generic until other thoughts, because then we can dive into it more. So I'm really curious what everyone else says, because I feel like this one has the potential for people to be like, no, this was great. You're just wrong. But some people might hate it more than me. So I don't know. Let's leave it at that for now.
Okay. I'll kick it to Venom then.
All right. Well, I'll be the first one to disagree with Mike, and I got a funny feeling that I'm going to come in the highest on this one because I fucking love this movie. I have not read the graphic novel, admittedly, though anytime a graphic novel is adapted into a film, the novel is almost always better. So, I don't doubt that, what Gary's saying about the graphic novel being better. But I absolutely love this movie. I saw this movie in theaters when it came out. Obviously the cast is what drew me to the film. Now, whereas people say that Tom Hanks is miscast in this movie, I 100% disagree. Tom Hanks as Michael Sullivan has this quiet menace that I don't know how many actors could pull off. Because don't forget, yes, he is an assassin for the mob, but he's also a husband and father. And I mean, it's not like you could put Vin Diesel in this role or some muscle-bound actor who's just going to be a tough guy, because then it doesn't make sense that he has a wife and 2 kids that he adores. Obviously he may not show that adoration that he has for his family, though if you watch the deleted scenes, there are a lot of scenes that were cut out of this movie that actually humanize Michael Sullivan. There's actual deleted scenes of like sweet moments that he has with his wife, sweet moments that he has with his child, deeper conversations that he has with the older Rooney. It almost, I mean, if you guys think he's soft now, those deleted scenes would have made you think that he was an absolute pussy. But like I said, I just don't see it that way. He's got that quiet menace that's, to me, when you meet someone like that in real life, it's absolutely terrifying. A guy that looks like he could be an accountant, but he doesn't speak much, and he just has this look on his face of always being aware. He's always aware, obviously, except at the end of the movie, but that's, something that we'll talk about later. Now, this movie's not a 10 out of 10. I'm not saying that this is The Godfather. I'm not saying this is a perfect film. No, not by any stretch. I do have issues with this movie. One of the major issues I have with this movie is an issue that I have with a lot of mob movies, and that's the fact that mob bosses tend to value blood so much more than loyalty, and that just bothers the hell out of me. Paul Newman as the older Rooney comes off as a very intelligent and wise man, but he has this son who's, how much money has this kid cost him? He continues to kill people that are not actually, wronging his father. These are people that could have made his father money, that could have brought him more power, more influence. But instead, this idiot values his son. Why? Because you share some DNA with him? Who gives a shit? You would think that as a mob boss, your first priority is the organization. It's keeping the organization afloat. And I'm sorry, the fact that this mob boss values, and not just this one, like I said, there's plenty of mob movies that do this exact same mentality, where they value blood over loyalty, but it makes zero sense to me personally. And I admit I know nothing about organized crime, so obviously I would not be an optimum mob boss, but at the same time, it's like, loyalty brings you money. Loyalty brings you influence. Loyalty brings you power. Loyalty brings safety to the people around you. And most importantly, loyalty brings safety to you. But instead, you're gonna side with this drug addict, alcoholic, womanizing piece of shit who is very obviously stealing from you. Like, I can't imagine it would have taken a genius to figure that out. And he still is loyal to this kid. And it doesn't. And what does he get for it? He gets cacked in the rain, and I'm okay with that, because as much as I liked Paul Newman's role in this movie, just that mentality of valuing family over everything else irks the shit out of me. Now, mind you, I literally just told my co-host during our break that I haven't spoken to my father in years. I am an only child. I don't have any siblings. I have a great relationship with my mother, but my father I haven't spoken to in a quarter century, literally over 25 years, the entire time I've lived in California. And, you know, there's reasons for that I'm obviously not going to get into here. But the point is, maybe it's because I'm not that close to most of my family. I'm close to my mother's side of the family, but I have almost zero relationship with anyone on my father's side of the family. So maybe that's why my vision is a little bit clearer when it comes to, you know, family over loyalty. So yeah, like I said, that's always going to be the biggest issue I have with this movie. I know the pacing is a big issue for some people. It is a 2-hour long movie, and it's not like there's gunfights left and right, especially the second act. It's just a lot of traveling. The addition of Jude Law's character actually adds some great suspense and, you know, adds more stakes to the whole thing. The first time I saw this movie, I actually was mad at Michael Sullivan for dropping his guard at the end of the movie. But then upon multiple rewatches, I realized he thought he killed him in the hotel room. He didn't realize that the assassin survived the hotel onslaught. So that's why he thought he was in the clear. So I kind of forgive it now on retrospect. But you know, and there's other issues I have with this movie too. You know, Gary talked about Daniel Craig's character. Ultimately, we're supposed to hate that character, so he probably did a good job portraying that character. So I'm okay with it. But yeah, it's not a perfect film by any stretch. It's not even. It's not even like a top 25 organized crime movie, not by any stretch. But for whatever it's worth, this movie has always worked for me. Stanley Tucci is great. Paul Newman is great. Jennifer Jason Leigh is great, but you have to watch the deleted scenes to see a lot of the other scenes that she did, because in the actual film that we got, she's barely in it. She actually has a lot more dialogue in those deleted scenes. So I do recommend checking those out. But overall, I adore this film. I love it. I admit it's not perfect. I admit that there are a lot of people who kind of, you know, talk down about it, and that's fine. All opinions are valid. I will never disparage anyone for their opinion. But when it comes to me, I absolutely love this movie. Saw it in theaters twice, bought the DVD as soon as it came out, bought the Blu-ray as soon as it came out. Have not upgraded to the 4K, but yeah, that's more financial than anything else. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I absolutely love this movie. I'm not going to call Mike wrong, because Mike's review kind of jives more with the general consensus. You know, this isn't a movie that's still being talked about 24 years later, other than a few podcasts here and there. And I understand that it's not a movie for everyone. You know, if you're a Godfather, Goodfellas, Once Upon a Time in America fan, you know, of that kind of organized crime movie, then this one's probably not going to work for you. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. I genuinely do. But for me, I love this movie, so I'm just going to leave it at that and say I would recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. Again, don't expect stellar mob action. This is definitely more a character-driven movie and a story-driven movie. It's definitely not an action-driven movie. So keep that in mind if you've never seen it going into it. But ultimately, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Cool. X.
I can count the number of Tom Hanks movies I like on one hand. He's never, ever been a favorite of mine. He's a subdivision. He's safe. He's manicured. He's a gated community of a human being designed to make middle-class America feel cozy. I don't do subdivisions. I respect my soul too much to be trapped for 2 hours inside of a rom-com like Sleepless in Seattle. So I avoided Road to Perdition because why wouldn't I? It's Tom Hanks with children. That's the strong, hard path to get fucked. So I didn't expect to love it, but I did. So fuck you, Gary Hill. You did this to me. I think it's an amazing movie. that I didn't want to like because, it stars the human embodiment of Wonder Bread. But my problem with Road to Perdition is it doesn't fit my paradigm of I don't understand my dad, but I love him, and I'm never sure if he's trustworthy enough for me to like him. Look at the family in that movie. They got a cool car. They got a nice house. Dad's a little bit distant, but I guess whose dad isn't? I don't know. It's never really brought up that daddy's an enforcer for the Irish mob. That's why he carries a gun. That's why he doesn't talk much. He's full of secrets. So when the shit hits the fan, Michael Sullivan grabs his namesake, his son, and hits the road. Now, I don't see that as a matter of protection. It's more of a matter of obligation. That bloodline must be saved. It's DNA over relationship. And for me, that's kind of a parallel because I don't think that my dad ever knew me either, and he still doesn't. I think he pushes the things about me that he doesn't like, under the rug, and that makes the relationship a little bit difficult. I have a hard time with Father's Day. I'm very conflicted about it. My dad and I cannot be our true selves around each other. And that makes me sad because I deserve to be known. And so does he. I feel like I already know more about him than what he would be comfortable with. So is that the issue between Tom Hanks and his kid in Road to Perdition? I mean, maybe. Pretty sure Hanks didn't want his son to know that he was a hitman for the mob. Pretty sure my dad wanted me to take what he said at face value without attempting to dig any deeper. And I feel myself forced to ask myself, is Michael Sullivan the dad that I always wanted? Because when his facade began to fall away, he owned it. He brought his kid into it. And that may not have been the right thing to do. Pulling your 12-year-old into a life of bank robberies, murders, and getaway driving, not the best thing, but it was transparent. No lies detected there. My dad has always had some sort of weird secret life. And when anybody caught him in a lie, he just ignored it and pretended like nothing was different. Just the same old good old boy that we always thought he was. He did, and he still does. Just he lives kayfabe. Everything's fine, even if it clearly is not fine. And it feels like he always wanted to know how much I could take, just how weird I could stand it before my love would crack. And it hasn't. I mean, I still love the guy. I just don't always like him. And I guess that's another parallel between Road to Perdition and my life. Young Michael didn't approve of what Michael Sr. was doing. He didn't always understand it. And at times, the kid flat out condemned it. But Michael Sr. usually had young Michael's best interests at heart, taught the kid how to drive, told the boy when to hide from assassins. The kid never killed anyone, even though he had the chance, and he certainly knew how, but he understood that somewhere behind his dad's quiet exterior, I don't think he was a pussy. I think he was just quiet, just shy, so used to keeping things close to the chest that he didn't really know how to have conversations with people. That's what I think. But I don't know. I think Michael Sr. was walking a very dark path. And I think he did that so his son didn't have to. And he wanted a better life for his kid, which didn't involve the mob or, a hail of bullets through a cheap hotel room wall. I don't know what my dad was trying to protect me from. I know that he had a plan for me, which I strongly deviated from because it was the 1980s and I had a penis and a thirst for all things potentially flammable. I drank a lot. I fucked a lot, and I didn't settle down till I was damn near 40 years old. And I put my son through all of my immature, weird hell and made him live through it with me, And I don't know how to apologize for it. And that's why I don't really do Father's Day. I don't really consider myself as being, I wasn't a good one. Now, I love my kids. They love me. I know this. I would do anything for them, and I'm pretty sure they would do anything for me. We've come to an understanding. But I remember when I felt like I couldn't leave an abusive relationship that I was in. And it's not like you hear all the time, oh, the guy beat up the woman and everything. No, I've been in 2 relationships where it's just the opposite. So I was in an abusive relationship. My girlfriend at the time called my son, quote, excess baggage, end quote, to his face, sold his bed and his Nintendo 64. And I don't forget, and I don't forgive. But I also remember driving back to a shitty hotel, drunk and shirtless, with the messy remains of a Taco Bell burrito leaving a lava hot scar on my belly, with him in the passenger seat. Why did I do that? He didn't need to see that. He didn't need to see me try to drown everything with food and booze. So in that respect, I didn't do him right, and I hate that about myself. And I'm still embarrassed about the human that I was then, even though I've made, I think, a pretty big turnaround. I think that Michael Sr. was about ready to make that same kind of turnaround in Road to Perdition. He had gotten his son to a safe place before his past caught up with him. He was ready to sheathe that sword. I mean, dude, I danced on that weird blade for a long time, and I survived, and so did my kid. Arguably better than I did. He's a good man. I'm very proud of him. He's kind, he is smart and incisive, and he loves who he loves, and he loves them hard. He's 29 now? Well, yeah, will be 29, 28, 29. I don't know what else you could possibly want your child to do. So if it's true that every dad wants their kids to do better than they did, then I think Michael Sr. got that. I have issues with the very end of the film, but I think that for those 2, I think the road to perdition more or less became the road to redemption.
Yeah, me. I ain't got a whole lot to say about my father, Big Gary. Except, he wasn't the most perfect guy in the world, but he was better than his brothers were as far as being a decent human being. So I can't say that, hey, I always had that the best thing in mind for myself all the time. I just, grew as a child, spanked as a child, got better character as a child from more female characters in my life. So I'll leave it at that. So if I didn't have women in my life just like I have now that had bigger balls than their male predecessor, I wouldn't be as nice a guy as I am right now. So there's that, but this film in general, I enjoy my time with it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I like the role Tom Hanks plays in the film. Like you mentioned, actually, he plays that guy that could have been a lot more angrier than you would think he would be, because he's wife and son get killed by basically by the will of a swarmy fucking daddy's boy, who is afraid that his son who witnessed the murder was gonna turn over on him and tell his daddy what he done. But the whole time his daddy pretty much knows what he done the whole time, because you get the whole thing at the end where Michael's talking to Mr. Rooney, and he's very aware his son's a fuck up and he's taking all this money, but at the same time, he has people in play to, keep it under wraps, like saying Stanley Tucci's character. He just basically said, just stay where the fuck you are, motherfucker. But I this film, does something the second film doesn't do, where our assassin in the film and the next one encourages toddler to murder and kill people for revenge. I don't think Michael Sullivan wants that for his son, although he's teaching him how to survive in their current situation. which is necessary because you have bad people after you. You're out there, taking the man's money out of the bank and all this stuff, but also to rely on good people. Now, the end of the film, I think it's set up, when the middle of the film happens to where he's recovering in that farmhouse, and they show some sense of trust, but they also show some sense of like, this guy's got a past he's not going to tell us about, but at the same time, he seems like he's there for his son, and he really is the whole time. He's there for the boy and the man that he could become, and I'm for Tom Hanks' film for that reason, because he's cold, but at the same time he's very guarded at the same time, to where he doesn't let a lot of his anger show, but he at the same time he's gonna get his, and he's gonna, but by any means necessary, whether it's stealing money or killing bad guys along the road. Which I gotta say, this is probably one of Jude Law's most coldest roles that he's ever played. I like this guy who's a crime scene photographer / super assassin. I dig that about him, and it leads to a conclusion that, again, like Venom says, it's very surprising. You think he died in the hotel shooting, but there he is at the very end, spoiling this movie, and I don't apologize, but you should go watch it because it's got great. Probably mostly CG, kind of like what they did with Public Enemies, which I think is an underrated film, with Johnny Depp as John Dillinger, to where they made Chicago look like old timey Chicago, in real life. That was a cool thing they did there. Paul Newman, for a final role, it's very decent. I mean, he's much like Michael Sullivan's character, Mr. Rooney, is, to where he's very confused on, he's very confused on why his son turned out the way he did. I can tell you right now, he's just a fucking schwarmy ass motherfucker, which is not my Daniel Craig, people. I like that. He's kind of like the bitch boy Skywalker of this movie. He's just whiny and, looking for something better all the time, and at this point stealing money from his father, thinking he doesn't know, but he doesn't know, but he's so ashamed he doesn't want to tell anybody about it. And I just I'm here for all of that. I can't say it's the best thing I ever read, but I'd say go check out the graphic novel. It's been a long time since I read it, but it's I like it better on paper than I do as a film. And it's weird to say that, but it happens sometimes that way, to where they make a small thing. And I'm not that guy that discounts Watchmen because they changed the ending. No, I think it's damn near goddamn pitch perfect as far as a graphic novel goes to film, except for the ending you get. And this is good. I enjoy this, and I will leave it at that.
Newman is great and stoic.
Mike, final thoughts, sir?
Final thoughts? I am obviously wrong on this one and need to watch it again. No, individual performances, I do like it, and I still think it's good. I still think as a story, it's compelling. And I'm trying to remember because I know Tom Hanks' character, Sullivan, thought that Jude Law's character was dead. I don't know if maybe because we knew he didn't, or he wasn't dead, that pisses everyone off about the ending. I can't remember if he had some type of confirmation, or that he thought confirmation that he was dead, or just because of the way he was shot and dropped him and he was kind of writhing around on the ground. Because I always thought like maybe he felt he was under the gun to get the hell out of there, and he thought he put a kill shot on him. Because my initial thought was like, why didn't he just walk up to him and like put one in his head to finish him off? But I know this scene was kind of frantic, and he was trying to get the hell out of there, thinking probably more people were after him, and he just had to bail. But yeah, like it seems like from all we had to say that I'm the lowest on it, but I still think it's a good movie. It didn't blow me away like I thought it would when it was first announced and you saw the cast and all that stuff. So I just want to clarify on that. So that's it.
Venom.
All right. Well, I don't know what else I could add to what I've already said. Like I said, I love this movie. I defend it. I will stand on that hill and say that this is a great film. I recognize its flaws. I recognize its shortcomings, but ultimately there's more positive than negative. And ultimately, I have no issues with any of the performances in this movie. I mean, and no one's even mentioned that this is an Oscar-winning movie for the cinematographer. I mean, there's some beautiful cinematography in this film, obviously, as it did win the Oscar. So it's a movie that I don't return to that often, only because A, it's long, B, it's a little slow. I like my more fast-paced films, especially my quote-unquote fun films, if you will. And this is definitely not a fun film by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, if you like good acting, good directing, good editing, and especially good cinematography, I think there's no reason to check this one out. But like I said, the long and the short of it is I absolutely love this movie. I have since day one. I just watched it again today for probably only like the 5th or 6th time ever, despite the fact that I've owned it on multiple formats. And it still hits me hard, man. I still get the feels at the end. And I'm almost upset that they never show us Auntie. Obviously, Auntie is no longer with us because Jude Law's character was in the house. But I felt like they glossed over that a little bit, and I would have liked to have at least gotten some. I mean, we get the confirmation that Auntie's definitely gone because the kid takes the dog with him when he goes back to the farm. So obviously, that's basically the confirmation that, yes, Auntie was taken out, but I still would have liked to have seen that scene as well. Not that Auntie's going to put up much of a fight against Jude Law, but I still would have. Obviously, it ruins the surprise, but I mean, they could have done it post-mortem, like, after the fact, show us what happened with Jude Law arriving at the house first. But ultimately, like I said, I love the movie, and I'm going to shut up about it because I could talk about it for at least another hour. So, yeah, I'll just say, yeah, high recommend from me. Check this one out.
Cool. X.
Yeah, it was a first-time watch for me, obviously, and I'll recommend it. I liked it. I can't guarantee I'll go back to it every 4 or 5 months. I think it has a lot more to do with, I don't know, family secrets than really it being a straight-up mob movie. So that resonates with me a lot. Again, dude, you can't have a Father's Day show with movies about father-son relationships and not expect to stir up something in a lot of guys. So yeah, it stirred me up a little bit and made me think. And I don't get that with half the shit that I watch. I don't get to think. So I respect that, if nothing else. So yeah, if you've not seen it, watch it. Watch it 2 or 3 more times and find things to complain about. But as far as I'm concerned, there probably aren't many.
Cool. Yeah, I think one of the scenes that sold me on this film is, I didn't mention this during my part of the review, is the diner scene where Jude Law and Michael, and Tom Hanks were having the conversation, and there's little movements in there where, or Michael Sullivan knows that he ain't right, and he just keeps going for the gun and moving things in different positions and waiting for something bad to happen, and it's just very calculating. And I think that their conversation, and to where he knows he's the bad guy and the bad guy knows that he's the bad guy. I think it's just shot, and the dialogue is so good, and it's kind of what sold me on both their abilities as a protagonist and an antagonist. As I really enjoyed that exchange. But the film as a whole, I go back to it every once in a while. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I watched it for this show, and I'm glad we had a good conversation about it. Yeah, I'm glad. I hope this opens folks' eyes to go check it out. They may not have seen it before, but I would recommend that graphic novel. I remember it's been a good decade since I looked at it, but I'm pretty sure it's available in print somewhere or on digital somewhere for you to go check out. And it's a nice screen to page comparison, these two things. And go check out both things. And that's where I'll leave this. And the next review we're going to do is it's bloody. It's makes a lot of sword noises. Child's got a weird bullet haircut. All that in the baby cart, man. Shogun Assassin coming up after the trailer.
Return to the vanished kingdoms of ancient times. Journey through a lost empire of mad wizards and barbaric passions. Behold the saga of a legendary warrior, a loving father who has the power of a dozen armies in one sweep of his mystic blade. This is a story of honor, disgrace, vengeance, massacre, and a man who became a demon. Shogun Assassin. Once, he was the greatest of the magnificent samurai. Now, he hunts the evil lords who butchered his wife and stained his honor. One man and one child defy the most notorious masters of death on the planet. Like father, like son, meets the greatest team in the history of mass slaughter. Nothing on earth can match their infernal fury. Nothing on the screen can match this awesome spectacle of sword and sorcery. Shogun Assassin.
Shogun Assassin from 1980, sort of. This compilation of a film. Yeah. When the wife of the Shogun's decapitator is murdered and he is ordered to commit suicide by the paranoid Shogun, he and his 4-year-old son escape and become assassins for hire, embarking on a journey of blood and violent death. Yes, indeedy. This is compiled by a guy named Robert Houston, but just directed by Kenji Masumi. Based in the Lone Wolf and Cub universe. There's 6 of those films. It's based on a manga. Watch and read both of these things because they're excellent. Yes, a writer again, Robert Houston. Writer Kazu Kolke and Goseki Kojima. I'm not doing too bad so far, guys. These fucking Japanese fucking names.
Keep it up, bro.
It gets painful right here, so you know. Lone Wolf, aka our daddy of this film, is played by Tomisa Buro Wakayama. Not too bad. I'll keep that. Your 2 main principals I'll stay in this film all day long. His son, the Gyro, is played
Daigoro.
Daigoro, there we go. Is Akihiro Tamakawa. And that's where I'm going to stop right there because that's going to hurt her to speak anymore about the shit. But yes, a lot of folks that I know are Lone Wolf and Cub purists that will not wipe their ass with this movie. I had a good time with it again, so I don't care. This is the condensed version of those two films they put together, and I'm fine with that. But I'll ask Venom first. Shogun Assassin, how you feeling, brother?
All right. Well, this was a first-time watch for me. I have seen a couple of Lone Wolf and Cub movies, but I have never seen this one. So thank you for picking this because I fucking love this. Whereas Road to Perdition is objectively not a fun movie, this is the sheer definition of a fun movie. I had an absolute blast with this. I loved our opening. I love the fact that all the plot points are kind of squeezed into the second act and they're sandwiched with action before and after. Like the first and the third act are almost all fight sequences, and I love that. And by the way, arterial spray, spectacular. I adore arterial spray.
Oh my God, yes, man.
So much fun. I don't care. And I know this movie was released in 1980, but to me, it's still a 70s movie. It still has that great 70s blood that I adore, that Hammer made famous, for so many years in the 60s and 70s. The character is, of course, spectacular. I mean, Lone Wolf. I mean, what a great character. What a great storyline. Again, not the most original story other than the inclusion of the son, which, obviously adds that extra sense of dread, every time dad gets into a fight, son is basically a target. But man, once we start to see the fact that this kid's got some skills, like not only is his cart a weapon, the kid himself actually can utilize said weapons on the cart, and it's just so great, so spectacular. The scene where the cart goes by those ninjas cutting all their legs off in the process. Oh, I'm sorry, but I had a giant erection during that and many scenes in this film, believe it or not. I love the storytelling in this one. I love the fact that the story even diverges a little bit away from the fact that he's just hiding from his former master and he actually takes another job, and we get the introduction of the Masters of Death, which that's going to be my biggest complaint about this movie, is the fact that the Masters of Death are set up to be these amazing badasses to the point where we actually see them kill a few guys on that ship very impressively. But then the fight between Lone Wolf and the Masters of Death is he beats each of them in 4 moves. And again, that speaks more to the prowess of Lone Wolf more than the incompetence of the Masters of Death. But in a cinematic, landscape, I would have liked to have seen that final fight last a little bit longer. I would have liked to have seen maybe, a more perilous situation where one or more of the masters actually has him in a perilous situation where we think, oh shit, he's not going to survive this. But then, of course, through his own amazing badassery, and yes, badassery is a word, through his amazing badassery, he's able to get out of the situation. But like I said, it's just the biggest complaint is going to be that fight and just the fact that our titular assassin is so overpowered. Almost every fight is quick, and I'm not necessarily complaining about that, but I am a fan of more long, drawn-out fights, more the Crouching Tiger hero kind of route, as opposed to, these quicker fights that we got in 70s and 80s martial arts films. So ultimately, though, I had an absolute blast with this. Another character that I thought was wasted was the leader of the female assassins. It seemed like once she lost all of her clan, that she kind of lost all her muster. And even though she did try to take out Lone Wolf by herself, I don't know if she just made the realization that she's not going to be able to beat this guy, so she just kind of gave up on it, or whatever the case may be. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more badassery from her as well. So yeah, but otherwise, very few complaints about this movie. Great action, great dialogue. I even like the narration, and I hate narration. I famously hate narration, but it worked in this movie for me. I like the kid. He was likable. He was funny at times. His comment about counting all the ninjas that his dad has killed, I thought was great when he went from 342 to 345 after he killed those three. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, overall, this is an absolute fun watch. This is something that I absolutely will return to. In fact, right after watching this, I put the Lone Wolf and Cub Criterion Collection box set on my Amazon wish list because I absolutely have got to own these. Like I said, I had only seen a couple before this, and they were always great, but this one just put it over the top.
It's a great set, by the way, and it's packed with extras from historians and all the stuff. So yeah, it's
oh yeah, see, I love extras, so yeah, I'm very excited, and it's only $60 on Amazon right now for 6 movies plus extras. So there you go. There's your homework for the episode. Go buy the box set. But yeah, like I said, I'll shut up about it because again, this is another movie that I could get giddy about for an hour. But yeah, highly recommend any of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. But yeah, Shogun Assassin is a great starting point. So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and absolutely check this one out. So I'll shut up.
You're cool. I'll kick it next.
So when I was a kid, my dad worked for a recording studio. Cool gig. Met a lot of famous people. Met Gene Hackman. And sometimes he'd have to travel for work. So at least once he had to go to New York City. This is before the city got gentrified and Disneyfied and everything else. But I can't prove that he hit 52nd Street with its, wide variety of visual entertainment, but pretty sure he did because A, it's my dad, and because one night he came home with a VHS copy of Shogun Assassin, and it was a bootleg. Now, I don't know really how he got it. I don't remember the tape having a slip cover, but he insisted that I watch it. And this would have been, 80, 81, sometime around then. And back then, as a society, we were headed into a golden age of horror. For the most part, my folks were just all for that. Dad took me to see Romero's Dawn of the Dead in the theater, called it my manhood ritual. As a family, to see Alien on opening weekend, because that's the normal thing that families do, right? I remember Dad laughing really hard during the chest burster scene, and my mom and I did not. We both squirmed and looked away, but I remember him looking at me, looking away from the screen because he really wanted me to be watching that specific scene. That talked my mother into letting me see An American Werewolf in London in the theater, which was interesting to me because she protested. I know she did because of the moon dance shower scene, but there was Dad kind of wielding his influence and, pulling me into his corner. So I wasn't sheltered from blood and gore by any stretch. It was the classic American art paradox in our household. It was like violence is fine, but don't you dare show nipples. But Shogun Assassin had two things that the other bloody movies that I had seen did not. Also, I'm going to start with the second thing, and thank you so much, Venom, because Shogun Assassin taught me to appreciate the sheer beauty of cinematic arterial spray. When the blade hits the neck and the blood shoots out like water from an irrigation head, just high pressure, thick, pulsing gout, just like the opening scenes of Caddyshack, except the golf course is being watered with mud and there's no dancing gopher. And the setting matters, right? The background matters. Like you have a sword fight in a shallow river by a waterfall so that the blood dissipates into the water like cranberry juice concentrate, or you battle in the desert so the red blood pops against the white sand, or you kill a dude in the forest so the blood splatters all over the leaves, right? If you're going to make friggin' blood fountains, you do it somewhere cool because it is different than a regular decapitation. It's not Pamela Voorhees and her cable knit sweater grasping at the air as her headless body crumples to the earth. No, this is a Bon Jovi kill because whoa, you're halfway there. It's disrespectful. It's I don't even care about you enough to go ahead and finish the job. Just bleed out. Bleed out while the battle continues and let nature reclaim your dwindling body. Oh, something beautiful about that. And I remember very clearly Dad being a big fan of those scenes. And I get it. They are beautiful, they are grotesque, but they're also a huge middle finger to the standard rules and conventions of not only samurai or gore movies, but society. We used to be a proper country. We expected clean kills. Now, the wife of the main character, Agami Ito, like we talked about, murdered by an enraged shogunate. So now Ito's a widower, and their young kid, Daigoro, has no mother. So, and what is maybe the strangest scene of the movie, Ito offers Daigoro, who can barely walk or talk, although Daigoro is kayfabe, 4 years old, 5 years old? But in this scene, he's like still a toddler. He's crawling. So Ito shows Daigoro a sword and a ball. So if Daigoro chooses the sword, then that means that Ito's going to take Daigoro on his bloody quest for revenge against his wife's killers. But if Daigoro chooses the ball, that means that he isn't ready to take on such an adult responsibility, and Ito will kill him so Daigoro can join his mother in the afterlife. It's not much of a choice. It's like asking a puppy if they would rather have a new car or a spatula. But that's the exact kind of choice that certain fathers place before their children. And there's only one correct answer, and it's the one that agrees with the father. So maybe it's not a choice at all. Daigoro crawls towards the sword, and his fate is sealed. And it's not like Daigoro understands the ramifications of the choice he made. Like I said, he's a toddler. He toddled. But Ogami Ito demands his son's complete and total allegiance to his life's new cause. So that choice takes the inherent father-son relationship to a different and more dangerous level, because now Daigoro is a mercenary like his father. And it makes me wonder why my father showed me that movie. I'm not implying that Dad was a mercenary who roamed the wilds of Kentucky, cutting the heads off of all the people who wronged him. But I wonder if I was supposed to take away some deeper meaning from Shogun Assassin. When I was a kid, my folks really didn't present a united front as far as parenting. My mother was strict, to put it mildly, and my father was more of a free spirit, though that's a polite term for that. From my perspective, my father had the expectation that the world would conform to his desires. Rules were meant to be shattered. If Ito lived by his own version of the Bushido Code, the Code of the Assassin, then my dad lived by the code of the loophole. If there were a sneaky way to get what he wanted, he would do it. If that meant buying one movie ticket and staying at the multiplex all day, that's what he did. If that meant driving the wrong way up an exit ramp on the interstate to get away from cops because he was driving drunk, he would do it. And I think that's why that copy of Shogun Assassin was a bootleg, acquired somewhere on 52nd Street when that still meant something. there was always that unspoken expectation that he should be praised for that kind of behavior. Like, oh wow, you got away with it instead of doing things the proper way. Great job, Ronin. So I wonder if he thought of himself as Ogami Ito, and I wonder if he thought that he had, at some point, given me a choice to follow him into his weirdness, his dark demon path that he walked so comfortably. And I wonder if he is disappointed that I chose the ball instead of the sword. A few years ago, I bought Dad that Criterion set we're talking about earlier. It's got the Lone Wolf and Cub movies, and Shogun Assassin is part of that collection as a bonus feature. And I don't know if he's ever watched it.
Go on, Mike. You're next, buddy.
Yeah, I have no cool, interesting story to follow up with that when it comes to Shogun Assassins. Assassin. I keep wanting to pluralize it. Maybe for the sake of all the assassins in this movie.
I mean, it's technically correct.
Yeah, I think it's just natural to call it that. So, I think Gary hit on like something briefly at the beginning before he handed it off to us. I think there's a lot of purists out there when it comes to the Lone Wolf and Cub movies that think that, maybe this is the wrong way to watch this product or content. Maybe at least they say you should watch the other ones first. And I would say ultimately you should watch the Lone Wolf and Cub series, the franchise. I think there's 6 of them, to see how everything plays out. I think kind of like the slow plays journey. I do think that with the truncated presentation of Shogun Assassin, there are some elements that are removed from the story. I think the child himself is a little less in peril. I think our protagonist is less maybe in peril than the stories would suggest. However, I just can't bring myself to care, honestly. And I love all versions of this. I love the 6 movie franchise, which the last I checked, I haven't looked in a while, but I know they were all streaming on Max's Criterion section.
Yep.
Now I know. Okay, they're still there because I know with Max they have a pretty good Criterion section, but stuff does come and go. Where I think if you sub directly to Criterion channel, not only is the Criterion library bigger for obvious reasons, but I think stuff stays on there longer. Where Max kind of changes things in and out with their specific section.
Some stuff stays there for like a month and then it's gone, but it's usually the more popular stuff. I have Criterion channel. That's why I know that.
Okay, yeah, I know. They just on one of my social media feeds, I saw they just released the trailer for all the coming soon stuff, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, this Shogun Assassin, it's I think 85 minutes. It's sub 90 minutes, and it's paced incredibly well. It doesn't let up. I mean, we start with that great narration kind of to set up where we are at with the story. It gives us everything we need to get the ball rolling. And from there, it's just a series of, I'm going to get my revenge, and anyone that gets in my way is going to meet the blade. And everybody does. And something that's incredible watching this is not only is it's fun, it's bloody, it's paced, it doesn't slow down, but you also get to see what it's influenced. The Masters of Death, I mean, is that not Carpenter's 3 Storms and Big Trouble in Little China? I mean, that's pretty undeniable. And it's kind of cool. It's not only the influence, but it's where the next generation of influence kind of take it, because then with the 3 Storms, they add supernatural elements to them. So it's just kind of cool how you see the baton passed down. And I know like some directors over others get like flack for this kind of things, but it's like every great stands on the shoulders of like previous greats, and everybody seems to be influenced by everyone. And the more films you see where you think like the directors you love the most have like 100% originality in everything you do, it's like the more expansive your film watching gets, you just realize like, no, these guys started as like film fans and fanatics themselves, and they take elements, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's great. And man, I feel like there's almost not a lot for me to say because it's just 85 minutes of carnage and blood sprays and cool characters. I just love how every assassin that presents himself or herself in this movie is like more neat than the previous one. And then, certain factions show up later in the movie, then they're introduced, and you just see like the frustration on them that they all think they're going to beat this guy, and he just dispatches them like nothing. And I like the style. It's like, it's kind of like a more samurai fighting style where it's going for like the one or two big death blows, not like extended fight scenes in that sense where it's like a big, huge back and forth. And it's just it's fun, and it's easily digestible. You can totally see why they did what they did for the American release. I think this is just something you put out there. You kind of eliminate probably some like cultural stuff that's in the more longer form viewing, and you just make it a very simple samurai action movie. I mean, you could still say some of like the Western elements are there because he's making like the long track to find the Shogun to get revenge. But like they really cut down, like they don't even turn this into like one like 2.5 hour epic. It's literally like sub 90 minutes just to get it going, and doesn't stop till the credits are rolling. I love the score. The score of this movie is just super cool. Like every time it kicks in, it's like you just want to turn your surround sound up and just have the neighbors join you and watching and listening to it. I mean, there's not much else for me to say, but I would say, the purists, they would have their arguments of why they might not like this, but I disagree. I think if anything, look at this as a companion piece. Watch this, and if you want more of what you see, then hit the franchise afterwards. Watch them all. Lone Wolf and Cub, Shogun Assassin, they all deserve to be watched at least once. Although I think this one's going to be watched over and over just because of how quick and easy it is to get through it. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, me for this movie, I seen this for the first time. A boot that my friend Brian used to sell, and I never. So I've seen the cover other places, but I never actually sat and watched this. But it's just it's a real, like Mike said, a real easily digestible film that sort of feels like a video game, because the moment him and his boy hit the road, everyone around him is an enemy. So he's just murdering people left and right until you get like that moment of solace to where they're able to stop at a bathhouse and get their feet clean and stuff. But besides that, it's all business the whole time. And I love his son. The action you get out of a little 4-year-old boy is something else, because I love the use of the cart in the film to where he knows where all the traps are. So he hits the button on the front handle and the blade comes out, and it's just like a perfect little sidekick. If I remember, I've watched these films a long time, but he's a lot more active in the other films, I think, as far as like doing more stuff. And but yeah, this film, it's hard to say, a plot, because it's basically him on the road with the boy, and him dispatching all these enemies and not really avoiding trouble to where, you know, I mentioned Michael Sullivan kind of didn't want that for his son. The Shogun's head decapitator, he made his son choose a life. And when this kid crawled to the sword, he I guess knew, but it was probably just more of a familiar thing to the boy that the sword was the way to go. I don't know, but at this point, I don't care because it becomes that film the whole time. These killers after killers coming after them, him just slicing them with great gusto and arterial spray everywhere, like the guys mentioned. It's all over the place, and if you like that sort of thing, and I do, look for this film aplenty. It's everywhere. This is a fine condensed version of like Mike said, condensed version of the first film and a half, and I don't think it's a slight against the other films itself. I hear a lot of folks talk about, you know, that's the only ones to watch is the original 6 movies. They won't touch Shogun Assassin. But, you know, for a novice, or for somebody who wants to have a good time for less than 90 minutes, and this was the main reason why I chose to do this film instead of saying, hey, let's watch all 6 of these things and cover them. It's not a time saver. It's more like an efficiency thing to say we're gonna enjoy the essence of why this series is so great. And like I mentioned, go check out the manga too, because it's pretty great what it's based on, and I'm sure it has like nice hardcover editions out there that you guys can go purchase and yada yada yada. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. It hasn't been said already. It's just the assassins are really cool. The three main bad guys who are kind of there to do bad things, but you know they don't really get much play in this film. It doesn't really matter at the end of it, really, because the Shogun lives up another day, and his son's still alive, and the love is there to the point of where I guess my favorite parts of the film is where his son gets captured because he's distracted by potatoes. I can't explain this, but you know, he sees like, hey, somebody left us food, and they said, yay, now you're kidnapped and get put down a well. And of course Shogun shows up and Shogun's decapitator shows up and just starts killing everybody, and you know he succeeds in everything, and it's what you want to find, like the hero just winning all the time, and he wins a lot apparently in the hundreds. We don't see 400 deaths in this film, but the kid's counting and he's a toddler, so you know there's that, and it makes me want to go watch the rest of the series. And I have both of these things, Max and Criterion channels, so I'm gonna make it a reality very soon. I'll leave it at that. Venom, final thoughts, sir.
Final thoughts. This movie is fucking amazing. Like I said, I had a great time with it. Very happy that I got to watch it. It's gonna go down as an all-time favorite. I'm gonna revisit the Lone Wolf and Cub movies that I have seen and check out the ones that I haven't seen, so I can be Lone Wolf complete. But yeah, this movie is great. If you like blood, if you like action, if you like a very tenuous father-son relationship, then yeah, I would say the Shogun Assassin has a lot to offer. So check it out.
Cool. X.
Yeah, this movie's fantastic. I love it ever so much. Criterion Channel does have all 6 movies and Shogun Assassin if you want to get into that. But if you have Tubi, and by golly, who doesn't in the States, there's a Lone Wolf and Cub television series that lasted 3 seasons. Don't do it. It's everything that you love about the movies is completely missing from that TV show. It's basically like 3 seasons of The Crow Stairway to Heaven that Dacascos Crow syndicated TV show from the 90s. So, yeah, it's a big suckball, and please avoid that. Everything else, yeah, complete. Go. Do it now.
DeCoscos is trying in that series, to be fair, though. Come on now.
DeCoscos tries at everything, bruv. Even on friggin' Iron Chef America, he did the best he could with what he was given, but dang, what? No.
One day we're going to come with Double Dragon. I'll be very happy. So let's put it that way. Because it's garbage. I know it is, but you know what? Robert Patrick's high top fade in that film is it can't be beat. Okay, you know. Mike, final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, as a standalone, Shogun Assassin is a great piece of action cinema. It is also a great kind of teaser, taster, intro to what Lone Wolf and Cub is all about. If you watch this and think, wow, that's great, and imagine if there were 6 movies like this that give us even more story, more adventure, more peril for our heroes. You're in luck, because there is 6 full-length features that are available for everyone to watch. And there's a whole lot more blood, a whole lot more characters, and a whole lot more fun to be had. So I think it's worth your time. In fact, I know it's worth your time to at the least watch Shogun Assassin. I know a 6-movie franchise is a lot bigger of an undertaking, so if you're just in the mood for 85 minutes of fun, nonstop, throw this movie on.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But one thing one slight against this movie is that as a standalone film, as you say, Mike, it does end kind of abruptly. But then once you realize there's more to this series, you don't feel so bad about that. So it's just like, hey, this kind of ended kind of abruptly, but you know what? You're there for more of it, and there is more of it. So that makes you kind of happy inside. Yeah.
Is it Wu-Tang's Liquid Swords that uses the audio from this?
More than likely, they're all over.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they use so many different like Shaw Brothers clips on various different albums. I think Liquid Swords uses the opening narration and then various bits and pieces throughout the album.
Oh, but there is a loves this shit. It was just on again. I think the second time it was on Joe Dante and podcast, the movies that made me. He was just on there again pushing his. I watched this film too. Something chocolate.
Spoonful of chocolate.
Spoonful of chocolate.
Yeah, I watched this and it was decent. You know, it got a little preachy towards the end, but it is what it is. Yeah, there is a loves that shit, and I love Man with the Iron Fists is a wild experience. Again, a lot of love for the genre he has.
Lone Wolf and Cub is for the children.
Protect your cub.
No, but yeah, it's just, again, it's one of those things from the past I saw when I was probably 15 years old. They just stuck with me, and it's going to stay in my craw forever. And I appreciate the filmmakers for this, and bringing, again, this is not something that was not done at the time, bringing this kind of stuff to American audiences, whether it was cut up or something. You know, I think Golden Harvest put this thing out. They were a co-producer or something, but they put something like The Protector, which was, I think, was a Golden Harvest and major studio collaboration. You know, gave us, I'd say the first mainstream view of Jackie Chan in the States was The Protector. I would say that before Rumble in the Bronx, The Protector happened, and this is another example of, you know, bringing us Westerners some good arterial spray to put in our eyeballs, and I love it. I love Shogun Assassin for that. But this is where I'll leave it, and we'll come back and close out the show.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Jenna Rollins is Gloria. She's tough, but she sides with the little guy.
I don't want to die. What do I do with you? You know, you're not my family or anything. You're just a neighbor's kid, right?
Gloria, you know, we're not interested in you. All we want is the book and the kid.
What you gonna do? Shoot a 6-year-old kid on the street?
For Gloria, the danger is always getting closer. And getting closer is always the danger.
Tony? Gloria. How are you? Can you help me?
Gloria, trust me. Maybe we can do something.
Trust you? Hey, Tony, I know you.
Where is the boy?
I want to go home.
Hey, don't be stupid. You got no home. You got me.
I understand. You are a woman. He is a little boy. You fall in love. Every woman is a mother. You love him.
I love Phil.
Do you love me?
How could I resist you? Hey, I don't like this kid.
We need the boy.
I'm gonna get up and walk out of here now. If you want to stop, you can.
Like Cagney and Bogey and all those great tough guys. Now there is Gloria, a chick off the old block.
Come on. Come on. Oh, I'd love it. Come on. Don't hang back. I'd love it. I got a 6-year-old kid over there that had his whole family murdered by you punks. Go ahead, Tron. Okay? You let a woman beat you, huh? You little tiny nothing.
Jenna Rollins
You punk.
is Gloria. She's trying to beat the mob at their own game.
All right, guys, it's been your Father's Day episode, and I'm glad to say we had a good time talking about fathers and, you know, all kinds of stuff of the sorts and, you know, blood and stuff. We all have stuff coming. I'm sure we'll talk about it right now. X, how's the new baby rolling along there, as I'll say right now?
Very slowly. It has been busy work-wise. So as soon as we can, we will present the thing to you.
Yeah. No pressure,
yeah.
That's asking, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we just take things a day at a time anymore. I'm here every once in a while when I can be. So I'm at Tenderbrae Wyatt on Blue Sky, and that's pretty much the only social media that I run with anymore. But yeah, keep watching the skies, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Maybe Sabu will show up, you know.
Bruv.
With the barbed wire steel chair, man, you know.
Heck yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Or I can't do a Joey Styles scream, but oh my god. You know, there you go. Venom, what you got coming up, sir?
All right, for me, the latest thing I have coming up is No More Room in Hell presents Creature Comforts, episode 51. I am still in the process of editing that, so it'll probably be out a few days after you hear this episode. But on that one, we took a look at, well, we celebrated Kai-Jun, and of course, we looked at 1956's Rodan, the original appearance of Rodan. Of the big three, the original Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan. Rodan being one of the more maligned of the three, but if you listen to the episode, you're going to get a lot of love for this movie. So yeah, definitely check that out when it's available. Like I said, probably a few days after you hear this, that one will be available at the very least on YouTube, and then shortly after that on all your podcast catchers. And I'll let Mike talk about the stuff that we do together. And so that's pretty much it for me. No guest appearances other than this one to speak of. But yeah, I'm just, as Mike knows, I'm working a lot. I've been working a lot over the last couple of months because I'm back in the retail game after spending 26 years in software engineering. So I'm very busy lately. So yeah, my movie watching has suffered and my podcasting has suffered, but we'll keep plugging away. And like I said, I'll let Mike talk about the stuff that we do together. And that's it for me.
Cool. Mike, what's your coming up, man?
Yeah. What Venom's referring to is Fresh Cuts, our weekly horror podcast where we talk about 2026 releases. So keep an eye on that. The latest episode that went up a couple days ago is Kraken. It's Norwegian, right, Venom? Norwegian?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. So Norwegian monster movie. So check that out. Also the main show, No More Room in Hell, where we kind of pair up a couple horror movies with some type of similar theme. And it's your more general show where we'll catch up on what we're watching, talk about any genre news that hits, and just general conversation before we get into our movies. That we aim to make it like bi-monthly, but you know, we're all old and have obligations, so sometimes it slips to like once a month. The next one should be recording soon. I think it was originally going to be this Sunday, but with the revelation that, hey, it's Father's Day, maybe it'll get postponed a week, but we'll figure that out. And that's all that's active now. It's funny because with Venom and Gary here, I have the co-hosts where we actually talk about a Friday the 13th and a Nightmare on Elm Street TV show. We just haven't done that either one in a while, but those are still technically alive, just on life support at the moment. But maybe we'll find time to get back to those. And what else? That's about it. I mean, the last time I've done a guest appearance has been too long to even worry about bringing up here. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, you can find it all on the No More Room in Hell YouTube channel or Dark Discussions network. And I think that's it.
Yeah, this show, Last Call of Torchies, you can hear those both in the Butcher Shop feed, in your ear holes, and also on the Legion YouTube channel. That's all there too, Legion Podcast, which released a jolt of news this week that our old boss, you know, same as the new boss, Mr. Bo Ransdell, may be coming back with Dark Parade again, and we're looking forward to that. Yeah, our boy coming back to do that. I missed that man.
He found his way out of wandering the desert.
Yeah, I wonder what the hell he's been doing, man. Yeah, I keep wanting to hit him. You feel like getting the microphone back on again, brother, and doing something, but you know, that's that's coming up. I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, this show been going great. So I'm very, very grateful for the folks involved and helping us push content out. Side shows maybe in the fall, Mike, we'll start Burning for Spring back up again because Suzanne's very distant in the summertime, and as far as like the Cubs go and yada yada yada, I don't want to go there. Let's put it that way. But I wish I had a dream of a side cast that will probably start right about now, which probably won't happen this year. Maybe next year we'll start.
The thing about sidecasts is they're super fun, but they're usually the lowest priority. So it's never a surprise when they kind of get put on the back burner when like everyone's time gets constricted. So no worries on that.
Big one, the series I loved from when I was pre-teen into a teenager was Adventures of Pete and Pete, and I've always been always intrigued to do a Waiting for October retrospective for the Adventures of Pete and Pete one day, like 2 episodes at a time, and that's a film that's been marred by music rights, and so the DVDs are few and far in between, but I've always enjoyed the Adventures of Pete and Pete's younger brother Pete, and already the strongest man in the world, all the shit. It's just one day that may happen, but until then, listen to this show. We're next up very very soon. I'm not sure we're doing this next week or not, but because we get 3 people, we'll talk about it. There's an episode where I dislike white folks very very much, and I know what you're thinking. Gary's white, but I'm more of a dark-skinned cracker at this point from where I come from. We're doing another Zahn episode to where we think the Steve Zahn deserves better friends. We're doing that with Reality Bites, and not the punk rock one, but the Richard Linklater Suburbia from the 90s. And I'm gonna have a great time just tearing apart people in those movies because I really hate them. So there's that. So spoilers, there may be some X style ranting in those reviews. But Steve Zahn's cool in those movies, so there's that. Yeah. That and a whole lot more on the next Sin Beef podcast, and this is where we'll leave you. This has been your Sin Beef podcast. Where if you've got beef, we've got the grinder. See you next time.
Peace.
Adios.
Bye.
How about a nice, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?